What's up, guys? Artem MMA Analysis here, and we've got a banger to be announced, man. We've got Santiago Ponzinibbio versus Michel Pereira. I think that this fight was only announced a couple of days ago. And while I'm still in the intro phase, I'm just going to apologize for my poor lighting. I've got my curtains open, and it's dark and my light's on. I guess it probably doesn't help, but I guess it doesn't really matter in the end. At the moment, man, we've got two guys that are borderline top 15 or just on the outside looking in. And in this case, man, it is actually Santiago Ponzinibbio in the top 15. He's ranked number 14 at the moment. And the man on the outside looking in is Michel Pereira, the man who's actually on a 4-fight win streak. I personally thought that by this time he would be in the top 15, but I guess he did take a UFC debuting fighter in his last one. Maybe that's not quite enough to put you in the rankings. But Andre Fialho is pretty good, man. He is good. Santiago Ponzinibbio, 1-2 since his return to the UFC. He took about like a 2-year layoff. Unfortunately, he was battling with quite a few problems there with his health. He came back. He got knocked out by the Leech in the first round, which really sucks for him, to be honest. And then he fought and beat Miguel Baeza in a very competitive decision. A decision that hasn't aged incredibly well because Miguel Baeza, I think, has since then lost and is now actually going to be fighting Andre Fialho, who was Michel Pereira's most recent opponent. So that's cool. And Santiago Ponzinibbio, split decision, lost to Jeff Neal. If you actually look at that decision, it seems like a lot of the media agreed with the judges on that one. And so yeah, an interesting fight there. I don't really know how you could give it 30-27 Neal, but one judge in the arena actually did that. But no, very close fight either way. Media scores you can't really trust too much, but I do think that either the fight probably could have gone either way. It was pretty competitive. Jeff Neal got arrested before that fight as well, which is interesting, I guess. And if we look at Michel Pereira, man, I think he's my pick for the fight. I do think I'm going to be picking Michel Pereira in this one here, and a big part of it is not necessarily the stats, really. Like, unfortunately, UFC stats hasn't made the matchup for this fight yet. But as we can see, both guys land a lot of strikes per minute. We've got Santiago Ponzinibbio here landing about 5 strikes per minute. And on the other hand, Michel Pereira also landing about 5 strikes per minute. But the difference is Michel Pereira is landing almost 2 takedowns per 15 minutes. And on the other hand, Santiago Ponzinibbio not really looking to go for those takedowns whatsoever. And but he does shoot. He does shoot for 1.5 takedowns per 15 minutes though. So he's actually still shooting for takedowns. He's just not really getting them. On the other hand, 55% takedown accuracy, 100% takedown defense for Michel Pereira. So not really too much of a difference in the stats. I guess the only one, the thing is Michel Pereira's got that takedown threat. We'll see if he does choose to take the fight to the ground. I feel like he only really does it if he's losing the stand-up battle, which I feel like Santiago Ponzinibbio will probably find success, definitely maybe in the first round with Michel Pereira. And Michel Pereira is also a guy that has shown to gas out in the past as well, because he does throw these spinning attacks. He throws a lot of crazy strikes. He does like backflips in his walkouts and stuff like that, which I can imagine does take up a lot of energy. He has gassed out in the past. He looks pretty good though against Andre Fialho, and that fight was actually Andre Fialho gassing out towards the end of the fight. Michel Pereira was taking over and just outlanding him on the feet using some kickboxing, and Andre Fialho really was only showing boxing. On the other hand, Santiago Ponzinibbio, pretty good cardio himself as well. And I think that we're probably going to see a fight go the distance here. I don't really think that we're going to see anyone getting knocked out. I think Michel Pereira, though, is the younger guy. He's actually the more experienced guy, to my surprise. 27-11 record. And he's only 29 years old. He's not even 29 years old yet. So, that's pretty crazy. Santiago Ponzinibbio, though, on the other hand, almost 36 years old. He's doesn't have the momentum that Michel Pereira has. He's on a 4-fight win streak of a pretty decent levels of competition. Salim Madiev, he finished him. Took Chaos Williams to a decision, which is a pretty good look, really. Took Nico Price to a decision and won that one. Beat Andre Fialho in Andre Fialho's UFC debut. That was on short notice, though. Competitive fight still, to be fair. Santiago Ponzinibbio, though, he's got some great wins, man. A win over Mike Perry 4 years ago, and then he knocked out Neil Magny, which is a win that has aged relatively well. Neil Magny's kind of been a staple in the top 15 for a while. But apart from that, man, he's 1-2 in his last 3 since his return. And I think that he's just taken he's taken a long layoff, is kind of what I can say. I think Michel Pereira is the younger guy. I think that he's like the least damaged guy, I guess you could say. I do think he could outlast Ponzinibbio here to win a decision. I think he's going to probably utilize some wrestling in this one. Maybe not wrestle in the first round, but wrestle in the second and the third to kind of secure at least a guaranteed 29-28 decision here. Michel Pereira, I think he's just a little bit more well-rounded, I guess you could say, as well, because he is going to be shooting for those takedowns. Santiago Ponzinibbio isn't. And yeah, that's my prediction and early announcement for the fight. I've got Michel Pereira. I think it's a banger, though, for as long as it lasts. I don't think that we are going to see a finish. If we do, it will probably be a late finish, but I still think we're going to see 3 rounds of war for as long as it lasts. Like, Michel Pereira took down Nico Price quite a few times in that fight. He's also taken down quite a few of his previous opponents as well. Yeah, Michel Pereira, I think we're going to see him get the win there. And also, on the other hand, Santiago Ponzinibbio, he hasn't actually been taken down since his return, which is probably very interesting to say. So maybe he's not quite used to being on the ground in a fighting situation. He did take down Jeff Neal once, and but yeah, apart from that, Michel Pereira, I think he's probably going to show the takedown threat and the kickboxing threat as well. It's a little bit more well-rounded. I'm going to trust in that. I'm going to trust in Michel Pereira. That's my prediction and my announcement for this banger of a fight that is coming up in a couple of months' time. So see you guys then.